calling the meeting.
Hi, everybody. Sorry for that.
Lloyd's here also.
Yep.
In spirit.
I'm
So,
looking through my glasses. I'm sorry. I will turn my video on when I find them.
okay. We'll start with the new business, 12 Parrot Street. You must be Anna Maria?
Yes,
Okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're proposing?
yes. So we would like to make an addition of the house on the left side, if you look frontal, where currently we have just like a driveway that leads into the backyard. And so that addition will have like two floors, 2 stories, right? And the top will have an extra bedroom and a bathroom, and the bottom will have a dining room and an extension of the kitchen. That would be the actually that would be the dining room. The other thing would be the living room in the front. And yeah, the reason is to just make it a little bigger. We have 2 kids sleeping in 1 bedroom, and I mean they're still little, right? So we have time for revisions here, but we just I don't know. We moved 2 years ago from a tiny place in Brooklyn, and this was like a palace. And I personally, I grew up in Madrid in a tiny apartment, 5 people, like my 2 brothers and myself and my parents. So to me, this is like gigantic. I never experienced living in a place this big, right? And now 2 years after, we're like, well, mostly my husband, but I like, oh, it's true. I mean, maybe it could be bigger. I mean, maybe we could have like another bedroom and the kids, whatever. Also seeing that everyone's houses are pretty big in this town. So, you know, that we started dreaming, and then we kind of like make some numbers and we're like, okay, you know, maybe we can make this
I would
happen.
assume that those are the renderings.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Proposed, yeah.
Okay, well, one of the things which needs to be a little bit clearer is what's new and what's being added.
Oh, there's
The prior
the
page.
previous page has existing.
Yeah.
And I these are the images as well. I was showing those earlier.
Oh, you want me to pull it out for you? Here, give me your packet.
Oh, it's all in here?
It's all in there too.
Okay.
Actually, it's nice to like look at them out side by side.
So the addition is to the left. Uh, Is that another, you're adding another entrance?
Yes.
The driveway is staying where it is, so you will just have, okay, right here, right? So you'll just have 2 room for 2 cars to park,
No, only one.
only 1 car.
Mhm. We only have 1 car.
Okay. What is currently like this area where it says the setback? Is that grass or is it driveway or?
In
This is
one-
the existing house here.
Oh, and this is the,
That's
oh,
the
yeah,
proposed.
so this is like, it's also part of the property. It's just like elevated and it's, I don't know how many feet it would be, like, probably from this wall to this one, or maybe a little bit, yeah, no, this much. And it's just like wilderness in a way, like it's
Okay.
not, yeah, and then the next property starts right there and it's like a garage.
Okay. I will, I guess, throw a couple comments. I know that, you know, I've not been on the board that long. I know additions are tricky, so you, my other board members will probably have more opinions. I think in general, it looks mostly good to me. It seems sympathetic with the original structure. What I am noticing that I'm not sure if I'm looking at it correctly is the proposed left elevation. Are you guys seeing that page? Proposed left, yes. If you look at where the new proposed entry kind of meets the structure, it almost looks like the second story is overhanging the first, the way like a raised ranch would. I don't know if it's really possible to, yeah, I think it is. That part I definitely do not like. It's
Yeah, I
hard-
think
it's
if you
hard
look
to
at
see it
the
in the
floor
elevation.
plans,
Yeah, if you look at the floor plan, you can kind of tell the second story is forward of the first story. So that's something I don't particularly, do you see what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, I had the same sort of observation and comment about that.
Yeah,
It feels like a ranch.
it feels like a raised ranch and otherwise pretty simple gabled structure. So that stands out to me. So my feeling is either
It's weird because I think that that.
maybe you don't even want it to be that, they just drew it.
In theory, it shouldn't be like that. It should be aligned.
Yeah, the same.
Same, yeah, because
So either the first floor goes a little bit bigger forward or the second floor goes a little bit smaller back.
mhm,
it looks like it's a difference of about 3 feet,
mhm.
which is not insignificant on the second floor. But I guess my question on that, Anna Maria, is there is the second entrance really critical? Because it seems like that's what's causing there to be this, you're creating this sort of protected second entrance. So you have that pushed forward and then the rest of it pushed back.
Yeah. No, I mean, we can have only one entrance, I think. The only thing is that we were planning on using that first entrance, just like a little out to do what's the name, mushroom. That's what it's been like a little bit of a dream, like if we have that sticking out, but
I don't have any issue with the entryway there. I think we could work, maybe resolve how it looks, but yeah, my front door goes right into the staircase and it's annoying.
Right.
With the front door, we always go in the back for that reason.
mhm.
Take your shoes off and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would just advocate, and again, it doesn't really matter what's happening inside because we can't see it, but I would just advocate that first floor, the front facade of the first floor be pulled forward, or, or somehow the top goes back a little bit and the bottom comes forward, or however, to make sure that it's a solid plane.
Yeah.
Because you also end up with this sort of, if you look in the profile, you end up with this really sort of strange proportion of the little gable roof over the entry, which seems like kind of not really grand enough to to serve a purpose.
Yeah.
So that was really the only thing on the drawings that really struck me as being out of keeping with the with how additions have been added to buildings over the years.
Well, that and also it looks like you have somebody who is not familiar with their house or you, which entrance would they use? Because by putting that little gable over the second entrance or the new entrance gives it more importance. And so do you enter through the porch or do you go to the gabled entrance? So that, but the other question I have is that, and I can't tell from these drawings, what is the pitch on the addition in the back? The proposed left, the pitch on the roof up at the very top.
The main gable looks pretty similar to what the front.
It's labeled as 12/2
Over two. Or one over
for the shed roof in the back, and then the main gable is 12/. This is 12/7, which the front is 12/8.
All right, and well, the reason I asked the question is that that's a pretty flat roof. And I would assume that currently you have shingles and you're looking at doing shingles on this roof. But then you also have the same thing on the front porch, which is existing, right?
Al, on the third page of the drawing set, there's kind of like a narrative list of materials. And it says that there's going to be a combination of asphalt shingles and rolled roofing.
Do you know what the roof of the current porch is? Is it metal?
It's metal, it's red.
metal. It's red metal.
Mm.
It's probably similar or something.
Well, yeah, either that or else what they often used were tin roofs.
Is your primary comment about that snow load and whatnot, or?
No, I would assume that they can size the rafters in order to handle the snow load. It's really that the shingle manufacturers require a minimum of 3-on-12.
Okay,
And this is obviously flatter than that.
Yeah.
Which means that you can't use shingles there.
right.
And so. I mean, can you shift to a metal roof to match the front porch?
To me, it's not a problem. I just don't know about materials. I don't know if that's something that for well, I'm representing my husband, too, but like if for the aesthetic, we will preserve or do whatever is necessary. I just don't know if that is existing or if something that we can.
Yeah,
That is
either that or else you can bump up the shed. In other words, make the shed a steeper pitch so that you can use shingles there.
They're not calling for shingle. Are they calling for that someplace that we're not seeing?
No, they're calling for a rolled roof.
A rolled roof.
It says roll roofing on on page 3, bullet 3. It says roll
Yes.
roofing on new 212 pitch to be black as existing. So I'm assuming that the shed roof that goes across the back of the building is a
right.
similar material.
Right. So that probably would be fine now.
Yeah. Also, we have an image, Craig and Anna Maria talked to us a little while ago about a back porch, and we have some images from that one. It was something that ultimately we didn't have to review, but I have them in their file. So let me just share it so you can see the rear visibility. Hold on a second, sorry. just, I mean, if we're gonna be getting into the discussion of the materials for the rear.
This is what I was trying to explain. I don't know if I was clear. So the driveway ends in that, and this is kind of like continue the hill.
It's just a hillside going on.
I
Okay.
think, and it's just like
Grass and.
grass and, yeah, whatever else. And then here, there's like a garage that is not much in use. It's a,
Yeah.
I don't know if you are familiar with that. It's like a cement building that holds cars, but we never see any movement there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so it's.
And then that is the
No.
top of the garage, I mean, of the top of the hill,
Mhm.
and then from that
I
point
see.
on, start going down,
Okay.
the street.
So this image that I'm just showing now, this was images that was submitted with their previous application last summer. And you can just see the view from Parsonage Street. So this, but you can kind of barely see through these trees. That's the rear view of the house.
Okay.
So if we're talking about the materials which are going to be used to roof the new shed roof, it's
Not visible.
not invisible, but it's pretty limited visibility, just to keep that in mind. Excuse me.
Okay.
And I'll go back to the main packet.
Materials, so all the siding and trim work is gonna match what's there,
Mhm.
okay.
We're trying to say, so whatever will be removed from the wall, this wall, we'll reuse it for the front.
Okay.
All right, do we have catalog cuts on the new windows?
Okay. No, the photos I submitted are the current windows that we're going to take away. And I know it says here that we're not recycling them, but again, I mean, I think that we only have two, and then on the front we have to put four. I don't know what would make more sense, if try to recycle them or just try to get four that will look as close as possible as the original ones.
Generally, I mean, just to get into windows right away, generally, we try to do everything possible to salvage and preserve original windows, within reason, of course. And then, if you were to add, to put obviously new windows on your additions, are these are 1/1, it looks like.
Looking at the photograph, I don't, yeah.
Yeah, 6/6.
Right.
They're drawn as one over, they're just.
You're
not
just drawn that way, okay.
Front,
Oh, I see,
Yeah.
and at the front, it looks like it's 4/4.
okay.
Yeah. it
Which is very typical, houses of this period in the village.
Yeah, the front looks to me like it's 2/2 with
Yeah,
just
they're
one.
2/2.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original, so in its current state, the windows on the upper story are 2/2.
And then the back.
And
and
then
side,
the-
they're 6/6.
Well, on the side, it looks like 2/1, so I guess there's a hodgepodge of different.
There's 6/6 on the side too, so it's a mix.
Yeah.
I would think that the more original are on the front, but I could be wrong.
I would say, you're better getting new windows to keep the look.
Steel.
No,
No,
no, mine are all single pane too, so I don't think you need to pass muster with that, but, Or
On page 8 of the drawing packet, there is a window schedule, and it does call them out as being Anderson 400 series. But the actual cut sheets themselves weren't included, but I had written to Anna Maria and Craig about that when I sent the agenda, so that they are called out as all being new.
So we
It's
just
all being what?
new.
As all being not reusing any of the existing windows.
I see.
Oh, okay, so that means the existing windows on the portions that don't change are gonna be replaced also? Like on the
No, I
front?
don't think-
Oh, no, I don't know about that. I'm just saying that they're not going to be repositioning the side windows.
Okay, well, I guess let's go back to the Muntin pattern because, you know, we have a whole bunch of different types of window. What are we gonna go with? Because it's drawn as 1/1 even on the front
Yeah,
elevation, if you look at the
that's right.
existing. So the question then becomes, what's the Muntin pattern that we're using on this?
Okay. Could you explain to Anna Maria, in case she's unaware, what a Muntin pattern is?
It's like the number of panes of glass.
Oh,
If you take a look at these
I
windows,
see,
you
yeah,
see.
yeah.
over here, there's 2/2.
Mhm.
And back here, we've got 6/6, I think.
Oh, that's why you were saying this,
Yeah.
now I understand,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
It sounds like a math problem, but really it's design.
I don't really know that I have a strong opinion about.
Well, I guess, you know, the thing is that we are making a radical change to the house. Do we have any information about the history of it?
Not that much, the year that it was built, but we don't have.
Is this in the National Register or the local?
It's in the local district. So it wouldn't be listed on the survey from Chris.
I almost feel like if the front of the main building are 2/2, but a lot of the main building side and rear are 6/6, that doing 6/6 on this addition could be kind of an interesting tie-in rather than matching it and making it try to feel like this was always how it was. Like my house, the right side, which is the essentially not as big, but it's kind of was done the same thing, right? Like the right side of my house is the original from 1850, and the windows are 6/6, and then when you go to the smaller side, which is the living room and master bedroom, they are 2/2.
But that was a later addition. I would say
That was a later addition.
for this, and I think your house probably, very likely predates this one. At least the original portion.
Yeah,
Typical of this
probably 6/6.
style would have, well, I see a lot of 2/2, and the other thing is to put it in context with Parrot Street, which, is a very character defining street for our entire village, not just at Halloween.
Yeah.
Sorry. Welcome to the neighborhood. 2/2, I kind of want to take a walk down Parrot Street and look at, because these houses have evolved. I mean, one really interesting thing about Parrot Street that I've noticed is the Bank Street and there was a little
There's some-
building boom, and they had all those interesting filled-in porches where, so we were
There's
talking
some
about
funky windows
to
on
push
those.
out, right, like that
buildings.
kind of like, Garrison colonial, not Garrison the town, like
Yeah.
the style from the 70s, where they pushed the upper story out over
Right.
the lower story. And I know that we were kind of struggling with that. I'm not saying that that's a good idea in this context, but a lot of the houses down that end of like the Bank Street end have there's a series of houses that all have like infill where they made
Yeah.
the facade flush. It's just an interesting little part of that neighborhood. So I would like to see, like, keeping that in mind, I'd like to see how other additions were addressed on that street. The houses are very close together, so I don't think we're gonna see a ton of examples of additions to the side of the primary facade on Parrot Street, but I just feel like I need to take a little walking tour and get some context. And I would answer our question about the windows too.
Well, and the other thing is that, it's one thing when you have the main house and then the small addition. This is a significant addition. I mean,
Yeah,
and it's almost the same size as the
Doubling the
original.
size of the house.
yeah.
So, I think that at least as far as the front facade, if the windows in the existing portion are not changed, then the addition should match it. Because, it would really be visually disruptive to sort of see all of a sudden a different pattern.
Yeah,
And so I think that as you go around the side, you need to take a look at that to see, for example, on the rear where it's 6/6, maybe that's what the windows are there.
The
6/6.
sides and rear,
Yeah,
original.
those are original.
Yeah, they all have the weights on the sides.
Oh,
with the-
yeah.
What about the ones on the front? Are they weighted also?
You can't see, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Are the ones in the front that they have weights?
Mhm,
They do too, okay.
yeah.
I'm a little bit partial to the 2/2s on the front because
Yeah, I agree.
I haven't seen them in many locations, and Cold Spring is this kind of weird place where I see them a little bit. So I really want to, and they have a certain sort of,
The side, the one side and the front are the ones that have the weights.
Mhm.
This one, now I'm thinking, no, this one does not have the weights.
which one?
The 6/6.
The 6/6, no.
Yeah, so I guess what I was saying is I'd really want to be sure that we're choosing the right one to mimic.
Just take a look.
I feel like the 2/2s are original, but I could be proven wrong, and that's fine. Been proven wrong many times today, so that's okay. I just,
I would be
I
surprised.
wouldn't want to lose it.
That looks like putty glazing,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
There is no way these are less than 100 years old.
right?
There's,
yeah.
they're,
That's
yeah.
the 2/2s.
The
Oh,
6/6.
These ones don't have the
Oh,
weights,
okay.
the front ones, sorry.
Mine don't, I mean,
But they have storm windows that were, it looks like they had storms.
these are
that
old.
were-
These are more than 100 years
Yeah,
old.
but I'm wondering if
sure.
they took out, maybe the weight system when they put in those storms. You're the window expert. but
I don't do.
I've lived in a
yeah,
house
but
like
I don't
that.
do, I don't really know as much about double hungs. I'm a casement guy,
You're a
so,
casement guy.
I mean, I don't know. All of mine in my house, whether they're 2/2 or 6/6, operate and feel
Yeah.
the same when I'm opening and
It looks
closing
like
them.
Tried to modernize.
What
it.
makes you say it doesn't have?
Because I don't see the cords in the front and the front of the house and this little section on the other, not where we're planning the addition, but the other side, they do have the.
You make some noise when you lift.
You
it.
see the cord, these ones are showing the cords, we see the.
Oh, well, sometimes when
rolls.
they would break, people just wouldn't fix.
That's-
them.
I-
Now
I
it's
saw-
a pain in the neck to fix.
And then also the glass is original, it's this
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know how it's called, but
Wavy.
it waves, yeah. Mhm.
Huh, all right.
I personally feel like either could work. I think if most people feel that matching the
Yeah.
current front windows is the way to go, I'm fine with that. I think one interesting thing though, that you pointed out about Parrot Street is that some of those do have the second story overhanging
Yeah,
the first,
and then they filled them in.
which
Shit.
I don't know, maybe that could be something kind of interesting to give this a more unique feel. Not the way that it's currently drawn, but more if the first floor was recessed even further and it was actually like a full covered porch, which would somewhat minimize and disguise that entryway as well. You were kind of concerned about what's the main entrance, like you will be using that entrance because that's what you want for your mudroom and all, but like the formal entrance to the home would not be challenged if that was the case.
Okay, I see this as, and Al, correct me if I'm wrong, like, I don't, the houses I'm
Sure.
kind of talking about are,
They're single gable
Well,
facing
they're
the street, so
like
it's
a-
definitely different, but
this looks more Gothic to me than like that kind
Well, I
of
mean.
Greek columns
if-
that they were
if- If the
imitating.
entrance stays there, what I would suggest is that a shed roof be used as opposed to a gable.
yeah.
Because the gable all of a sudden gives
Yes.
it some sort of significance that we
Makes
don't
it
really
formal.
want it.
Yeah,
So if
And
it's a
it's
shed,
different
or
also.
as
Yeah.
Todd suggested, that maybe across the entire thing, there's a little bit of a shed. Which, again, then, at least it ties in with the rest of the house, so.
yeah, it's also, the more formal roof line here. If it were a shed roof, it would imitate
Yeah.
the roof line of the front porch, which you see all up and down the street for sure.
Yeah, I think,
All right, let's continue down, and because I think that what I'm going to suggest to you is that you've got some issues that you need to address with your architects. And so we'll probably ask you to withdraw the application and take a look at some of these issues. But I just want to go down and make sure, because we're
Yeah.
talking about the windows
Make a list.
and the entrance. So and it looks like everything else, I don't especially see any particular problem.
yeah,
It's all sort of building on. And I think what we would probably need is, we're familiar with the Anderson 400, but I think specifically you need to address the issue as far as the Muntin pattern. The existing is incorrect because looking at the photograph, we know that the front has 2/2 and not 1/1. And you're planning on keeping those, right? So there are certain windows which are existing to remain. And the new ones really need to, meld into that overall, the facade for that side.
so I think specifically what the architect can do to help everybody visually is to draw the windows. Because right now they're all just one pane, one big pane over one big pane. So to look at the photos of your house and make sure that these are drawn correctly. And that way, when we're looking at this, it's easier, to have more of a formulated opinion. But I think in general, we are all in agreement. It seems that the front, these windows should match these windows.
And so,
I would actually say, I think that all of the windows in the new addition should match each other. So so whether it is 6/1 or 2/1 or 2/2, whatever you choose, I think all of the windows in the addition should all match. It looks like they're all double hung. There aren't any casement windows for egress.
Yeah.
okay, the only thing is that I think let them take a look at it and make a judgment, because what we could wind up having is sort of a very discordant appearance on the side where, we have existing 6/6.
And the rear,
And then we go to 2/2. I think, the way that this should be handled is that the architect should sort of draw in some options, and then you guys take a look and see what you
Yeah.
think would work best. So,
because the rear also has that first floor shed bump out, which the windows on the first floor do not match the windows on the second floor.
Yeah, they don't.
So I know that's not very easy to see.
In the photos that Sean was showing earlier, you can see it better from the other application that we did for the
Yeah.
deck.
But from the street, it's all pretty,
Oh.
it's very hard to see, but
Yeah.
Just like random and curious, is this door, that door?
Yes.
Okay, so this is from the 50s, so that would put that in around the 50s. I love that door. Save it with your life.
They want to reuse it. and
It's on the
front.
interior, so obviously, but
Yeah,
that's
it's-
original
it's
hardware.
spectacular. Yeah, we were hoping to just, all the doors in the house are like this, very low.
Mhm.
The handle is very low, the, farm, right? Like a farm
Mhm.
style.
Yeah.
So,
I love that. My aunt has a door in her house just like that. Same exact thing.
Is that
Love
a,
it.
is that a,
The
Dutch
Dutch door.
door, yeah.
Dutch door, yeah.
I know you never see them anymore. They're really great.
The drawings indicate that the Dutch door is going to become the new front door on the
Yes.
left facade.
Oh,
that.
okay.
So we're just seeing
the
it.
way we would do it, yeah.
It's a nice way to get a cross breeze too, because you open the
Right.
top part.
But I think if we're listing the things that we would like to see, to fortify the application, if we could just have the same sort of image that we're looking at of the inside of the Dutch door, if we could just see the exterior of it as well, since that's what will be visible.
Well, it's this one.
Oh, we have that.
I could kind of tell, yeah.
It's a pity that the exterior is, we were planning on perhaps maybe flipping that around because it's prettier on the, but I don't know if that's, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, I see. So
It's
I
this
see.
one, the white one is on the outside. And this is the
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it looks like it's then the drawing has it hinged on the other side,
Oh.
doesn't it?
The drawing is not correct also because it doesn't show the number of panes correctly.
Oh, right. It has
Yeah.
3. It has
And it
6.
shows the paneling
The panel is up too
incorrectly
high,
too.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Um,
that's why it's
Yeah.
confusing, yeah.
Okay, then also we probably need some information about the new, French doors that they're adding in the back.
To the rear.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
So we want to talk about the Munson patterns for the windows, the cut sheets for the windows, and door detailing for antique door.
Okay, let me ask the question because it sounded like we kind of we had second thoughts about the overhang. The overhang at the addition,
I don't like the overhang.
you know what?
No,
Okay.
I think it,
either.
I think it's on a volume that should be kind of subservient to the historic volume. I think it kind of draws too much attention to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do we agree then that a shed roof over the entry is better?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, or I would even consider putting a full porch on the new part, like similar to the other one.
Yeah.
I don't think that it has to be, I don't think it has to be under detailed just because it's new. But I think it should be, I think it should just be respectful of the historic volume. So whether it's sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I like the continuation of the
Mhm.
porch idea also, but obviously that is gonna cost a considerable amount of money, so I don't know that we.
And wouldn't that be more noticeable to see, because this is very, is very, very old, the original porch with the addition, how you match that? Or you have to replace the whole.
Oh, no, you
No.
have to replace the original material.
No.
No,
yeah,
you would just be
wouldn't-
mimicking the line. You don't have to, no, you'd keep your original porch.
Yeah, but just building a new porch across the addition.
Right.
I mean, I like that idea. but-
I can't remember, Andrea and Al, do you remember do you remember how we dealt with this at the Cuppers?
I was just gonna bring up that example.
On
Trying to
50
find it too. I'm trying to look it up. That's
56
the one on
Paulding?
Garden. Yeah.
Excuse me,
Paulding.
Paulding, 56. I can't remember how they dealt with the porch.
Yeah. There was they had, so obviously they had two portions of the house that were built in different eras, but what did they do? They changed the roof line in the upper story. I don't have access to those files right now, so I can't remember accurately.
Do you have them, Sean?
There is one other thing which I just want to toss out to everybody. Okay, so we have the windows and the windows have shutters only on the second floor of the front facade, no place else. The shutters that we have on the addition, I understand we're trying to match the front facade. But the shutters look like they're really pinched, they're jammed tight. And I don't think that one of the things that we have always asked for in the past is that if you do shutters, they should be real shutters that you can theoretically close and latch. I don't think you can do that with those shutters. So my feeling would be just
Yeah, they're small.
delete the shutters on the addition.
Yeah, I mean, it's of its time. We're not trying to mimic, make a replica of what would have been built there 100 odd years ago, it is what it is.
Yeah, that also could help
Yeah, so
that thought feel a little less.
Fake shutter.
It would help downplay the addition a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it would push it back. It would be, a lot of the time, Anna, when we're talking about additions in the village, in the historic district, we're always trying to kind of delineate, make it very clear, what was the original structure, what are we adding to? Which can be tricky because we're all in pretty narrow lots, but we found some creative ways of addressing that. Fortunately, it's pretty easy with this house. We don't have to change any siding or, anything really obvious. But yeah, when it comes to the shutters, I would just lose them on the new
Yeah.
part.
They're not needed.
We
They're
found the shutters
superfluous.
in the basement of the house that were not being used, and we.
Do you have more than you need? No. And then the window openings change.
We used everything that was not broken.
Yeah. You're lucky you found any though.
Yeah.
That's very lucky.
That was, yeah.
And they're always in the basement, it's true.
Yeah, mine
And
were
the
too.
chandelier too. There was like things that we found in the basement that were, wow, a very old chandelier.
Yeah, and the shutters are such a pain in the neck to paint. I think people just gave up on them after a while.
Okay, so what else do we?
I mean, going down the list, existing corner boards and following the existing building foundation, windows. We talked about the windows. Foundation for the proposed is going to be concrete slab with frost walls. Okay, so that means there's not going to be in other words, they're not digging a basement for the addition.
So this photo right here, the third one on the third page. On page 3, yeah, so the number 3 picture, like this one, it shows like the metal outside door that it leads to the
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that one, because that would be in the middle of the living room, it would
Right.
be just covered.
Okay, so then, but you have access to your basement from the inside.
From the inside of the house.
Okay, well, I'm just, Lloyd, what do you think? And do you think that's going to create any problems as far as the addition is essentially going to be on slab on grade, butting up next to a basement wall?
A little concerned, yeah, that they would react differently next to each other, right? And there might be some differential movement that's
Well, what I'm thinking of is that
expansion, basically.
yeah, what kind of loads is the addition going to put on the existing basement wall? I mean, right now, it's just, there's a slab on grade, but there's nothing there, but yet you're essentially adding 2 stories of
Oh,
of
right.
construction.
Next to a wall that's holding up the
That's
dirt.
really
to-
not our issue.
It's not.
It's something which your architect needs to think about. And how that is detailed. The
It
problem
does-
is that you have the existing basement wall, and then you're putting this construction here. And basically the loads from the house are then going to be applied to the side of the basement wall. So, but we're not the structural historical society.
You're just giving at least
I'm
an
just-
advice, like,
advice.
well, if your houses start falling off, maybe.
I mean, at my house, that before she died, she, with no permits whatsoever, jacked the entire house up. My neighbor said there was a 9-inch sag between the two structures. It partly could have been for that reason.
Anyway, so something to talk to your architect about. And actually, I don't see anything else. Does anybody see anything else that we would like for them to look at?
I think just to call out on the drawing about gutters on the new portion.
Yeah,
All
gutters and
right.
meters.
Just, and if it's gonna be to match existing, that's fine. It just needs to be called out and where they're gonna fall.
Hopefully for such a sizable addition, it's very straightforward. It's refreshing. It's
Yeah.
not very complicated. I'm gonna have an easy one.
And the casing around the windows is gonna match the existing, I take it.
Yeah, they call it on, that's
Yeah, okay, good.
number 5.
Yeah. I do
Those
think
collaborative-
one thing that I would just like to see, since we are gonna look at another round of drawings, Anna Maria, is that if we can just have all of this information that's on page 3 that calls out the materials, if we can have those added to the drawings themselves as notes, just the material listings, it's gonna be much easier for us to relay that to the building department. If they can just look and see what material is what. So that just from a document standpoint would be
Right.
helpful.
And-
And also to, indicate what's existing and staying and what's new
Yeah, on the elevations, if you can clarify
on the
that.
elevations themselves, yeah.
I mean, typically what somebody does, what they do is they would draw a line and say, this is existing to remain, this is all new construction. So just, make it easier for us to understand what you're doing.
One thing, I think, I'm wondering if the roof over the entryway on the side is changed to a shed roof. Does the second floor there need a window? And I don't necessarily feel like if it does get a window, that window needs to be centered on right above the door. I think if we change that to a shed roof that's the same pitch as the front porch, it's gonna end up with a very big and kind of awkward space of siding right above it. And since there's precedent on a lot, maybe more often on, well, my house, it's the rear wall that the windows are kind of punched asymmetrically. A lot of times it's on the side walls. Would a window like closer to, 2 windows here and 1 window here, or 2 windows and one, like, would that be kind of an interesting way to resolve that?
Are you
I just
saying
feel like
rather than have them line up with the story below, have them more evenly
Move in.
spaced?
Well, I think maybe
Then add
the
one.
left and the right windows stay stacked, but if we add a window above in the middle, maybe it's tighter to the left side or tighter to the right side. Or it could be right over the door. I think it's gonna need something when we see the drawing with the shed roof over that door. I think we're gonna,
I think what.
Yeah,
what's
just show it to us, I think.
That you take these 2 windows and.
and just move them
match-
in.
Yeah, match that.
Well, so this is why I was kind of looking at maybe that would work.
Because if you look at the second story, you know, in the existing volume, they
Yeah,
don't
it's
really
different.
relate to the ones below as tightly. I think it's a programmatic issue though, because you're talking about a window inside of a walk-in closet and a window inside of a
In
bathroom.
a bathroom, right, which you, yeah, so maybe
So-
that is, maybe just,
Mhm.
And if you get rid of the shutters, you have a little more latitude with spacing them
Yeah.
left to right a little bit. You could pull them in. Could have a smaller one in the bathroom that's off center. Or maybe I'm looking at the plan, it might actually center. It's
yeah,
just
I think actually in the bathroom, you could center it on,
I don't want to design it, but yeah.
on the kind of the
you might-
wall, and so it's not right in front of the toilet and it's not in front of the sink. So
Mhm.
maybe it's like there and there, which moves it essentially kind of to like here
Yeah,
and
I see
there.
what you're saying.
Okay,
So
which is up to their architect
Sure,
to work
yeah.
out.
I just wanted to point it out.
Yeah, I think
But
it'll,
yeah,
it'll
have
be
a comment
Yeah,
about it.
that's a-
clearer once the roof is changed.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that was a good comment.
Mhm.
Is there,
So,
Al,
So
is this something that you would expect we would conduct a public hearing for? I mean, it is a sizable addition and it is not on the rear.
yeah, that's true.
Let me put it this way. This is something that I would consider we would do a public hearing for. Do you
Yeah.
agree with me?
I do.
Okay. So as far as timing and planning for the applicant, you know, we
Okay.
just want to make sure that we are
So-
setting reasonable expectations.
What Sean is talking about is that we have the option of calling for a public hearing. And usually that is done for additions that are significant to the structure. And I think this is a significant addition. So I'll call for a vote on that. Okay, do I have a motion that this project be taken to a public hearing?
I
will-
will move.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
I,
I,
Aye.
I guess.
Oh, I guess isn't that a vote? It's either,
Let the
I-
record show that I guess.
well, you can say no. I mean, it's gonna,
I have to agree,
the
Todd.
public hearing is gonna pass anyway.
Yeah, it's a sizable addition.
Okay,
were
Um,
you yay or nay?
now,
Okay.
the significance of this is that what we'll have to do is, well, first of all, I think you need to take this back and rework it a little bit and come back. And I guess this sort of goes into when we would have our next meeting. For sure, it'll be next month, a week, 4 weeks from now. But we do have an option of meeting on towards the end of the month. If you think that the architect would be ready with his revised drawings.
Mhm. Can I ask you and get back to you or?
Yes, right, actually get back to Sean.
Oh, okay, I'm just
Sean
not
is
fully
already-
sure if he'll be able to have it.
Yeah, and it's,
That's
you know,
fine.
I don't know how much of a kind of a rush you are as far as getting this done. Do you anticipate doing this before winter sets in?
I don't think so. I mean, that seemed like so quick.
So it's,
It's a fair question, though. People can dream. They're dreaming about.
It is 2.5, the other one is 7. They're still sharing their bedroom happily. I mean, you know, we would love to get this going, and because we know that this takes time, we of course started the
It's fun,
application
yeah.
a few months ago,
And
and
it's nice to live in your house for a little while, like as you kind of like figure out the kinks, so.
but you know, obviously, you know,
okay.
we have like, when you guys grant it to us, we'll move on, because I know it's like a 1 year, whatever, it's that time, but We have to do things right. I mean, I don't want the house to fall, so now it's like a new concern. We need to make sure that we know what's happening with that wall.
Okay, well, what we'll do is we'll put it off until next month. And one of the things that we have to talk amongst ourselves, because we're being kicked out of the Wednesday slot, so right now we're looking at Tuesday. But Sean will let you know exactly when our next meeting is, and you can have the drawings ready then,
Okay.
okay? Anybody have any other words of advice?
No, it looks good. I think
Yeah.
it'll be really a great,
Yeah.
great transformation for the house and for your life.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
And
so,
hopefully next time there would be the whole team here and they will be more accurate on their answers, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. No, I
This is a good
commend
first.
you for coming in and just, baptism by fire and getting your jumping right into this whole process. Cause you haven't been before our board before, right? Yeah,
No,
but it's a
no,
lot.
this
It's
is
a lot
like-
to take in.
I
I'm
was like,
sorry for that.
I was studying everything before. I was like, I just don't want to say anything wrong or, you know, like, no.
Don't stress.
Like,
No, you did
Wow.
a great job.
Yeah.
thank you, guys. I appreciate this and, you know,
and we look forward to seeing you next
Yeah.
month.
thank you very much.
And,
Okay.
you can always email us.
And if you have any questions, you can reach out to Sean. He's gonna coordinates the schedule and everything else.
Okay. We'll see you in a couple weeks. We'll see you in a month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
We're not gonna have any public comment, because aside from the applicant, we have no other public.
Public.
That was easy.
All right.
Who's this A. Galinsky on here?
Okay, Lloyd, you're up. Explain to us all about the design standards.
I need to check in with Kirsten. I do not have an update. I have been just kind of pressed. I'm sorry I didn't answer those other emails that Sean eventually stepped in and answered. But I think we'll be done by the end of the year. We don't want to lose any people from couple people threatened they would walk into the river. So,
I said I'd walk into the sea.
oh, the sea. Well, no, the river would have been better.
The river's not violent enough.
Sometimes in the winter, it's pretty bad though. Anyway.
Do we
Mhm.
think that we're gonna have to schedule anything outside of our regular session to review edits or anything, or can we just hope that the next one's?
Well, I guess, let me ask the question, maybe, because, one of the things that Sean asked in his email was about what the second meeting during the month. And it has never really been scheduled. It was always scheduled in order to accommodate applicants and, when we have multiple applicants and there is in fact a time frame. So I think that's not going to change. In other words, toward the last week of the month, we'll still have an option to have a meeting then if we deem it necessary. So, do we?
I think
want-
you're talking about two different things at once, Al. What I was saying, I was asking Lloyd whether he felt like we should plan on meeting again to just specifically to talk about the design edits.
Right, well, that's what I was heading toward, the reason why.
Right, I think you're, yeah.
So
Going on.
the next meeting in 2 weeks.
Well, this is getting into what Al is talking about.
Okay.
So basically, as we've already discussed, we've been requested that we move from Wednesdays to Tuesdays. So I think that which ultimately I don't really have a problem with. I think it'll just take a little bit of time to work through everyone's schedules. But what I had suggested to Al is that I think rather than we sort of preemptively committing ourselves to meeting twice a month, I would advocate that we officially meet once a month, which we're required to, and only schedule second or third meetings really as needed. I think it would be, as we've all witnessed, our workshop meetings have been, we've canceled most of them, or we've had to hold them for, one applicant or something. I think that if we were to try to corral people into monthly meetings and then, excuse me, and then schedule our public hearings or a continuation, of an application or workshops, it would just give us a little bit more flexibility to then meet on sort of any of those other Tuesdays and not necessarily 2 weeks later. I think, in the case of meeting on Tuesdays, it does kind of create this little ripple problem with the legal notices because the paper comes out on Wednesdays. That's not a big deal, but it's just something that Jeff and I are going to have to consider. And I think most of the time, I don't know. I feel like the only things that are really super pressing that we would have to meet about more often, I'm sorry, would be if it was, I wouldn't want people to have to wait an entire month for a public hearing. And also we have to be somewhat accommodating for shop signs because of we're required to see them quickly. So,
and solar applications, right?
and what?
Solar applications.
Oh, I think that that's something that we should also commit to. So anyway, this was just what I was proposing. I don't know if anyone agrees, but I would encourage us to adopt a fixed monthly meeting schedule and really only schedule our workshops as needed instead of expecting to have them.
I agree with you, and I thought that's what we were doing all along anyway, so.
Well,
I'm fine with that.
Me too.
well, it kind of is, except we have been accepting new applications every other Friday and then meeting if something came in. I think I would like to, express to the public that we're really only going to be meeting once a month.
Yeah, well, if you remember, it wasn't that long ago, we were really backed up as far as
We were.
with applications, and so
Right.
what we were trying to do is just weed through all of that in a reasonable amount of time. So, yes, I think that we should acknowledge that we have a monthly meeting. We will schedule another session as we deem it necessary.
Is it possible to have the flexibility where if we get, 5 or 6 applications, that we can just split them up and say, this would be for your first Tuesday, this would be for your third Tuesday, because otherwise, like you're saying, like there could be a month where, we're left with a 4-hour meeting and people like, no one's gonna be happy about that.
Yeah, no, I think definitely. I think definitely.
Yeah,
But I also think that we could have 2 meetings back,
sure.
2 Tuesdays in a row just as
Right.
easily based on, I'm also concerned about us having to physically be together in quorum.
Right.
Because that's going to affect, people's work schedules and things.
Mhm.
So anyway, that's why I addressed it. But I
Okay.
think that we agree that that will be our plan.
Okay, so now is it the first Tuesday or the second Tuesday?
That was my other question. Does it matter?
I have absolutely
It's a
no.
Tuesday, I don't know.
No idea.
I don't care.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
when do the tree people meet, Jeff?
They meet on the 4th Tuesday.
The 4th Tuesday. So then I'd advocate we stick with the first. So it gives us the second and third if needed, or we can meet in the little room.
All right, so
You can't meet in the little
do I have a motion?
Ever?
Legal.
Well-
What is?
Oh, because we need the public.
room. We need to be able to videotape and.
Oh, okay.
Right now.
Yeah,
So unless your meeting is going to be completely in person,
yeah.
you can meet in the little room, but
Right.
All right, so first Tuesday with a possible second/third Tuesday option.
Yeah. That's
Cool.
fine.
So I have that motion on the table. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Aye.
I,
Approved unanimously.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Our pleasure. We are here to serve people. We're servants of the people. Okay,
I was not there.
We have minutes.
Yeast. It's hard to, I'm almost used to looking at the
Dodge
minutes
the
on a
bullet.
screen where I could just say. So the bottom of page 1, there's a, was in fact. Grandfathered in, no, it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, are there any other comments for, oh, we should spell this right, AZAC. Okay. 40 Main, is there anything else for 40 Main?
Not for me.
I don't see anything.
no, I don't see anything.
25 Chestnut is the fence.
Yep.
Okay, on page
Almost
2, why application materials, is that need to be capitalized?
I think so.
No,
Okay.
Okay.
I guess the fence to provide privacy. I don't think it provides privacy to
No.
Dunkin' Donuts because I don't think it's on the
No.
Dunkin' Donuts side.
no, it's not. It's on the opposite side of the house.
Didn't it go around?
So just say privacy from neighbors and,
Did it go around?
Mm,
I thought it went around.
well, it went around, but Dunkin' Donuts is,
Down below,
Yeah.
elevated.
Yeah. I was just going by what the owners
So
said.
maybe he said that.
Yeah, but we don't have to.
okay, I know this was, the pickets to sit flush with the posts. Posts to be visible only at transition points.
mhm,
I think that is not correct.
mm-mm. But this is what they proposed, not
That's
what
what they
we
proposed.
approved.
That's what they, yeah,
Okay,
you
okay.
then, they clarified and he agreed to just,
Okay,
recess them.
in that case, I will. Do.
Low hanging fruit, but my name is misspelled at the top. It's an OR. Thanks.
There. Oh. Um, okay, are we good on 25 Chestnut
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Parsonage Street?
got nothing on Parsonage.
Great.
It was a
And
busy meeting.
oh my God, it was a big meeting.
Sorry.
Thorough minutes. Applicant was not present, I remember that, no show, and then we talked about the signage. Did anyone get back to you about the town hall, Sean? Did they respond or no?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Oh,
I think that they took, they went with your suggestion.
Poor Sean.
oh, cool, okay, you need to go lay down and have a cup of
I
tea.
know.
Yeah.
Sean.
Yeah.
I haven't talked in like a
Motion to
week.
approve the minutes as edited.
Do I have a second?
Andrea,
No, I can't vote.
Oh,
I
you
wasn't
can't
sure.
I'll
Sean?
second.
Okay, Sean seconds. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Minutes
Karen,
are-
you're the best.
Yeah, those minutes.
I've never seen in my tenure on this board, you really do, they're outstanding.
Okay, so now,
Hmm,
I think we're gonna be able to make this work. Going back to this,
Yeah, this was surprisingly successful.
Yeah, it was remarkably smooth. I kind of still don't know where to look, like, I think, like, when I was pointing things.
I
on
had
the
to
screen.
practice. It's like, I don't wanna get in the middle of this and say, just lost everybody, you know.
Yeah, so what we see on the screen is what's being recorded.
Yes.
Okay,
So
Okay.
thank you for letting me join you remotely. I did make it home, but barely.
no problem.
well, I think that as long as we have a quorum, then, you know.
Yeah,
Well, she
we
got
just
to-
take turns who can zoom.
That's right. Who gets
Zoom
to, stay home? Okay, so do I have a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Sean seconds.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All right,
Okay.
Sean, go to bed.
Excellent.
Thank you
Feel
all.
better, Sean.
Bye,
Yeah,
Sean.
feel better.
Bye, Lauren.
Yeah, take care. Bye. Good
We
seeing
have a
you.
cycle at Village Hall, right? I hope.
As far as I recall, the last I checked.
I checked my emails. I don't think I got the signed August 3rd minute.
Okay, I will check to make sure.
But that went pretty smoothly. Oh, let me-
It's very